friends from Evita, cooking at the rhythm of my heart. Thank you so much for your support and stopping by. Today I have a very quick, simple, and delicious recipe. As promised, I have for you the step-by-step of how to make homemade tomato jam. The tomato jam is very practical, quick, and easy to make, and most importantly, it's very practical, especially during the holidays. Let's get started. For the jam, you can use any kind of tomato you like, preferably a meaty tomato, such as the plum tomatoes or Italian tomatoes, and have a thicker pulp, and they're perfect for this jam. You can use any kind of tomato you have available. However, if you use beefsteak tomatoes or salad tomatoes, keep in mind that they have a higher content of water, and it may take a little bit longer for the tomato jam to gel and thicken. You can certainly make this recipe, just keep in mind that it's going to take a little bit longer. Also keep in mind that the sweeter the tomato, the less sugar you may want to use. Tomato jam can be used in sweet and savory dishes such as sandwiches, bites, and platters, and I hope to be able to share with you some of the recipes that you can use this jam. Today I'm going to be using a combination of all these tomatoes. Since I'm using a combination of both homegrown tomatoes and store-bought tomatoes, I like to soak them for at least 15 minutes in a solution of water and food-grade sanitizer just to remove the wax or any kind of additives or pesticides that it may contain. We're also going to need some sugar, and I'm going to be using organic cane sugar, fresh lemon juice, freshly ground black pepper, ground toasted cumin seeds, salt, and as an optional ingredient, red chili flakes for a little kick. We need some grated ginger, and for this recipe, I'm going to be using pure ginger juice that I like to make using my juicer. If you have a microplane, you can just grate the fresh ginger and it'll work just the same. And finally, we're going to be needing some orange peel, and what I have here is some fresh orange peel that I have dried and ground and kept it in an airtight container just like that. If you don't have the orange peel, you can use fresh orange zest, that's fine too. Okay, and here we have our tomatoes that have been washed and roughly chopped. If you like, you can remove the seeds from the tomatoes, but since I'm using a combination of grape tomatoes and plum tomatoes, that will be a little bit difficult. Once the jam is ready, you can pass it through a fine sieve and remove the seeds. We're ready? Let's make some jam. In a pot, we add the tomatoes. And we're cooking the tomatoes for about 5 minutes on medium-high heat until the tomatoes release their juices, stirring constantly so that they don't burn. Look at that beautiful red, intense color from the tomatoes. And when the tomatoes come to a boil, notice it's already released a lot of their natural juices. We can add the salt, freshly ground black pepper, cumin, dry orange peel, red chili flakes, and this is optional, ginger, lemon juice, and the sugar. When it comes to a rolling boil, reduce the heat to medium-low and continue cooking, stirring constantly until the mixture thickens between 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how juicy your tomatoes are. After about 15 minutes, the juices are evaporating nice, and it looks like we have about 10 to 15 more minutes to go. But check it out, look at how beautiful it looks. Look at that lovely red color. Smells incredible already, and I really can't wait to try it. It's bubbling. Once it starts to bubble like that, we know we're getting near the end. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. It's almost ready. At this point, you can can it this way if you like, if you don't mind the chunky jam. I like my jam to be a little smoother. I'm going to use an immersion blender at this point to make it smoother. And it took about 30 minutes to thicken. Check it out. Look at how beautiful. Lovely. You can pass it through a fine sieve to remove the seeds and the skin. Since I'm using a blender to smooth it out, I don't think that's going to be necessary. In the pot, I have 4 quarts of boiling water that are lined with a silicone rack. You can use a silicone or a stainless steel rack, whatever you have available, to keep the jars from making direct contact with the pot. Just remember when you put your bands on your jars not to over tighten, close them loosely. That's very important because while we keep the jars in the water bath, this is going to generate steam. That steam is going to generate some pressure. We want to make sure we allow enough room for the steam to escape. Partially cover. We're going to keep the jars in the water bath for about 20 to 30 minutes. Our tomato jam is ready. And the last thing you want to do is you want to tighten the rings of the jars, and that's going to ensure that the jars are perfectly sealed. I'm going to take my mitten off so you can see they're still very hot. One way to verify if your jars or lids are perfectly sealed is when you press in the center. There is absolutely no movement. However, I'm going to allow the jam to cool overnight, and tomorrow when we come back, I'm going to verify once again to make sure that our jars are perfectly sealed. I always like to cover them when I leave them sitting overnight because depending on the internal temperature in your home, we want to allow the jars to cool down slowly. Finally, there you have it, my version of tomato jam. Over the table, I have some samples of the different ways you can use this tomato jam. And as you can see, this jam is perfect for party platters, for weddings, birthdays, holidays, and it's absolutely delicious. And I'm serving mine with some cocktail shrimp, my cured salmon, and my homemade queso fresco, and other varieties of cheese and vegetables. Okay, my friends, it's finally time for my favorite part, and it's time to taste this delicious tomato jam. You can use this tomato jam in sweet and savory dishes, and I have a display of the different ways that I like to use it. And today I'm serving it with my cured salmon, my homemade cheese, some shrimp, and an assortment of cheeses and vegetables. Let's try it. And we get one of these. Maybe a little bit of my salmon. Let's see. Okay. Bon appetit. Buen provecho. Ay, ay, ay. Qué rico. Delicioso. What can I say? It's absolutely delicious. Not too sweet or spicy. You can definitely taste the tomatoes, the ginger, and that little bit of orange that we use is absolutely amazing. You really have to try it. Friends, if you like this recipe, give me a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. I really appreciate it. Your thumbs up and your comments help the channel grow and get to more people. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and activate the notification bell to be notified when I upload new video recipes like this one. And until next time, I'm Evita, cooking at the rhythm of my heart. Buen provecho y hasta la próxima. You really have to try it.